Hello and welcome back to Dr. Freda's Power Sessions, where we stop performing growth and start living it. I'm Dr. Freda, and this is a space for real conversations about self trust, emotional intelligence, and what it actually takes to lead yourself through life and love. Here, we don't rush healing, we don't sugarcoat truth, and we don't confuse awareness with transformation. Power isn't about having it all together, it's about being honest enough to show up differently with yourself first. Every session is an invitation to pause, reflect, and choose alignment over autopilot. Now, let's get in today's power session. Today, I am joined by Jalisa Hardy. Now, Jalisa is a minister known as the Golden Child, a self discovery and alignment coach, board certified holistic health practitioner, doula, energy healer, human design expert, and author of It's All in Me. Her passion is helping women break toxic patterns, rediscover their self worth, and cultivate relationships rooted in self love and authenticity. Now, through her framework, the five F's to freedom, she guides women to heal from emotional trauma, release old cycles, and step boldly into the love and life they truly deserve. So, without further ado, I would like to welcome Jalisa. How are you?
Hi, Dr. Freda. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, likewise. I'm so excited for you to be here. And just to help our listeners understand, just through our honest, transparent conversations, because you just never know where your words can uplift, inspire, and even transform people. And so I am excited to have you here on the Power Session. And I just want to jump right into it.
Yes, let's get to it.
All right. So let me ask you first. I want to level set for our listeners today. Now, when you hear the phrase self betrayal with your working with your clients and your experience, what does it mean to you? And not so much in a theory setting, but in real life.
Yeah, for myself and for people that I've worked with, people that I've had conversations with, self betrayal is really not knowing or understanding yourself in a way for you to be able to show up as your most authentic self for the world. It's really being in a space where you're complacent with the status quo and just settling for, getting by, settling for surviving versus understanding and knowing that you were made for so much more. You are capable of so much more. And when you're able to see that, I don't have to settle, I don't have to, just get by, that's when you're able to shift from self betrayal to really being your most authentic self. So self-betrayal, I see it in ways where people are in relationships that don't serve them,
Mm.
staying in jobs that don't serve them, that are not aligned with their purpose or with their calling, and being in spaces that aren't for them, where, you're not made for the party scene or the turn up scene, but you're there because the crowd you're around, that's what y'all are used to doing. That's what you did. But it's like once you kind of wake up and see, like, this is not who I am, you still might go because that's what's comfortable, that's what's familiar. And that's where you start to betray yourself because it's like, you feel that this isn't for you, but you're still going along to get along because it's comfortable. Semi comfortable. I'm not going to say it's fully comfortable. It's semi comfortable because it's familiar. But when your environment, your relationships, or the things that you're producing don't align with your inner values, with your inner desires, that's when you're betraying yourself.
Mm, that's a good point. That's a really good point. And why do you think so many people would rather be uncomfortable or try to be comfortable in their uncomfortable and deny themselves just to get along, just to be with that person who don't choose them every day, to be in their job to just check a box or pay a bill? Why do you think people deny themselves for someone or something else?
Because if you really think about it, the way a lot of us were raised, the school system, those things conditioned us to just comply,
Mm.
be obedient, be good, good grades, do these things to make your parents or your caregiver, not want to be upset with you. So we've been conditioned to deny ourselves what we truly desire and denying ourselves from the path that we truly know that we're meant to walk on
Mm,
because we're used to people pleasing.
mhm.
We've been conditioned to
Yes.
people please. So to step outside of that is so unfamiliar, it's so unknown, it's so scary to some people. They're like, "You know
Mhm.
what? Imma just
Yeah.
stay where what's familiar. I'm not gonna, how they say, shake the table
Yes.
because I don't want these people that I've been conditioned to please to look at me a different way, to feel a
Mm,
different way about me. I don't wanna lose these relationships to these people closest to me, even if they're toxic relationships,
mm,
because
mm,
this is how it's been. And this is what I've been taught to do. So to step outside of that, they're really stepping outside of their upbringing. They're stepping outside of the beliefs that were passed down to them. They're stepping outside of even what their nervous system can even handle.
mm,
So it's about taking little steps, taking little stances to say no to something that you would usually say yes to. And in those moments, you start to build up your nervous system. You start to build up your confidence. You start to build up your courage. It doesn't take you completely moving to a different state, a different country, and completely,
mhm,
walking away from your job or walking away from your family. It's those little moments, those little instances of deciding to choose you over pleasing someone else where you start
mhm.
to build up to be able to walk out of that self betrayal into self actualization and self acceptance.
I love that. You said something so powerful when you said that a lot of people are raised to be people pleasers. We're raised to not go against the status quo. And And if you think about it historically, like, we don't want to be ostracized from the tribe because if we ostracize in our mind, we're gonna be consumed by some strange animal out there. So we rather just play along. We're gonna be with the tribe and just we're gonna commingle and do the best we can. And then you also said something you said about the limiting beliefs. And that's what I teach my clients when they come and they say things that I know they don't resonate with them. It doesn't resonate with them, but they've been so conditioned to just say things that is just an autopilot. And I have to catch them and ask them, well, what do you truly mean about that? And what is your belief around that? And then they and then when we start peeling back the onions, it wasn't even their belief system in the beginning. It was either their parents or society or ex. It wasn't even theirs, and they're still allowing themselves to believe in something that doesn't serve them because subconsciously fear dictates if they do change that belief system to something else. It's almost like we self-sabotage. We want something but subconsciously, we sabotage ourselves from getting it because we believe that we don't deserve it. We're not worthy of it. And so we subscribe to these belief systems that probably came from someone who didn't even believe in themselves. And no one ever people do not stop to think and say, "Hey, let me question what I'm thinking about or what I'm believing." Like nobody ever I should say nobody, but people do not do that. They just rather, well, I'd rather just hang out with these friends who go out to parties and do drugs all the time, even though I don't like doing that. But I don't wanna suffer from FOMO, you
Mhm.
know? So I'd rather just deny myself, continue to subscribe to these limiting beliefs, and do things that don't even serve me? Like, I wonder if people sit down and really think about it in that aspect versus just being autopilot and just doing something. Like, do you think that people literally question their behaviors and patterns? For example, for in your clients, do you feel like people question their behavior or even stop to think? Does this make sense?
I don't think a lot of people do unless they have people in their, in their circle that is
Mm,
asking those types of questions. That's why having the right relationships is
mm,
very important because our relationships are meant to mirror us, okay?
mm, mm.
They're meant to mirror us. So if you find yourself in certain types of relationships, they're mirroring you, okay?
Exactly.
But if
Exactly.
you don't have people in your corner that are doing the self-reflection, that are asking those questions to say, "Hey, sis, like, what is that about? Where did that belief
Mm.
come from?" 90 to 95% of our behaviors come from our subconscious,
Mhm.
okay? That's
Yep.
that autopilot where just okay, you get up, you pick up your phone, you scroll on Instagram, like, that's literally your subconscious behaviors, your subconscious habits. This is not you intentionally deciding to, okay, I'm gonna pick up my phone. It's literally because you've picked up this habit over time. It's been ingrained in you to believe that this is something that you need, to
Yes.
believe that this relationship is something that you need, that this is something that you can't survive without. So when you have to be very intentional with choosing something different in those moments where your subconscious has you on autopilot in order to shift out of that space and place of I didn't even realize I was doing this because a lot of people will be driving to work and
Yes.
they're like, how did I even get here? They'll get to work and they're like, that's because subconsciously your body automatically knows the movements, knows the turns, knows the lights, knows the streets. So if you're not intentionally being aware of what you're doing and where you are, your subconscious is going to take over. That's what it's
Yes.
designed to do.
Yes. Yes. And I teach people, don't try to change your conscious because your conscious is hearing exactly what you're doing and what you're saying. It's your subconscious that's actually driving the car, like you said. So if you want to make true transformative changes, you need to do the hard work through the subconscious. And that is there is no time frame for that because life in itself is a process and you have to go through it. But I think too a lot of people don't want to do the work because it is scary. It can be hard. It can be daunting depending if you're willing and yielding to the process. So, are you going to fight it? Or are you going to surrender? One of the two. So,
And that's a lot of times all that it takes is that
mm,
willingness. Okay.
yes.
Being
Yes.
willing. Are you willing to let go of that belief that you're not enough? Are you
Mm,
willing to let go of that belief that you don't deserve more? Are you willing
yep.
to let go of that belief that this is all that life will ever be? Being willing is that first step because that's that faith that says, you know what? I'm made for more. So I'm going to step into this new thing, even without knowing what's on the other side. That willingness is what's going to take you from where you are to where you desire to be, but it's step by step and understanding that it's not going to happen overnight. Like you said, people will try to change, like, okay, I'm going from not exercising at all to exercising 7 days a week, and you get 3 days and you like, because, like you said, that's self sabotage. I'm used to not working out at all. So if you think I'm gonna get up at 6 o'clock in the morning just on a whim to work out an hour 7 days a week, you're sabotaging yourself. Instead of
Yeah.
saying, "You know what? Imma do 5 minutes today.
Mm. Mhm.
Imma do 5 minutes right now, okay? And then we'll worry about the next day." The more present you can be in the moment, the easier it is to move in your conscious and reprogram your subconscious than it
Mhm.
is to say, okay, a week from now, a year from now, months from now. The more present you can be to say, in this moment, what can I do to shift my reality to what I want it to be versus
Yeah.
the things of the past that are holding me back.
Mm. I love that. I love that. And so many people, male and female, struggle with that identity where they attach their identity to this behavior of self-betrayal. And then that makes them into a victim, that victim mindset or that victim characteristic. Well, woe is me. They did this to me. I can't get ahead because of this. I can't do this because of this. And it's just you putting yourself in these situations because you rather people please, like you said earlier, and betray who you are to just get along. And when you do that, you're trying to attract things that is not even meant for you, that doesn't even serve you. And sometimes I feel like people masquerade that as, like I said, the victim or, well, this is making me stronger and I have to struggle. Says who? I'm just trying to figure that out. So I don't want to struggle. I don't subscribe to that mindset. No, ma'am, I just don't. So my question is to you, how does self-betrayal masquerade as being strong or even nice or low maintenance? And so when people are dating and they'll be like, "Oh, well, I can do whatever I want because, she cool, she nice, she ain't gonna say nothing," or "I'd rather date this particular person because they're low maintenance." What does that mean exactly?
It means that they've gotten to a space and place where they've allowed others' wants, needs, requirements, and desires to be more important to them than theirs. And they may not even know their own needs, wants, requirements, and desires. So
Mhm.
it goes back to that understanding of yourself. You betrayed yourself so much that you don't even know what you like. You don't know
Mm,
what you want. You don't know what you need. You don't
mm,
know what you require. So instead of exploring in your relationships to say, you know what? I do like gifts. Okay?
mhm,
Like gifts. Okay. This is what I like. Okay. This is what I want. And either you're going to do that for me or it's going to be someone else in your space and place. But people have gotten to a space and place where it's like, you know what? It's better to have this person in my life and not shake the table or not ruffle feathers or be low maintenance because subconsciously we're afraid of abandonment and that may have come likely from our parents. We're
mhm,
afraid to be abandoned. So I'm going to minimize myself to the point where I'm not going to ask for anything. I'm going to be low maintenance in hopes that they will stay.
mm,
But what that
mm,
means is they're going to take and take and take and take until you have no more to give, and then they'll abandon you anyway.
mm.
So you're
You better say it.
delaying the inevitable by not speaking up for yourself, by not advocating for your needs. Everybody has needs. Everybody has wants, and we're designed in relationship to be able to meet each other's needs, to be able to give and take in relationships. By showing up in a relationship just saying, I'm going to give, 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 you're doing the relationship a disservice because you're not giving the other person the opportunity and the gift of being able to give in return.
Mhm. I agree. And you know what? You also taking away from your partner because you're not even showing up as your authentic self. So who are they in a relationship with? And you said something so key about self-awareness. All of this is self-awareness and it's the
Mhm.
lack thereof. And it's I don't understand how people want to be in a relationship desperately because we're not meant to be alone. No man is an island, I
Mhm.
get that. But who are you showing up as? Is it your representative? Is it the authentic self? Do you know who that is? How do you expect a person to treat you if you don't even know how to treat yourself. Because the idea is to teach a person how to treat you. But I know someone who every time she dates someone, she just mirror what they like,
Mhm.
basically. If they like football, she likes football. If they like hockey, she likes hockey. She doesn't even like sports. Let's just put it that way at all. But because the partner likes it, then she's going to pick up everything. And I'm not saying you have to be separate on everything, but I'm saying know thyself to know that if you don't like a certain thing and you've tried it to be with your partner, just say, I don't like it. That's something for you and your friends. I don't like that. I don't want to have to do that. But, and like you said, the relationships with this person who I'm talking about who always try to mimic her partner and just do whatever they like, it never lasts because people can smell that. Like, they can smell BS. Let's just be realistic. They'll know if you really like something or not. If you're really being genuine, unless they're not self-aware themselves or just don't care or they preoccupied with other people too. So either way, she's not showing up for herself because she's not allowing this person to know who she really is. And then so she's doing him a disservice and herself a disservice. And it's just so unfortunate that a lot of people do that to say they have somebody because people just don't like being alone. You know what, Jalisa? I never got a person who's like low maintenance. I just never been that person. You just never, never been that person. You know, and maybe because I just never attracted people. Like now, I've attracted the wrong guys. Don't get me wrong now. But it was never low maintenance because I think I go in the door with the expectation like this is how I am. Like you have to match this frequency, right?
Yeah. So my question for you is, what were your examples growing up?
So my gosh, my mom and dad divorced when I was 2, but every weekend I go to my dad's house and I make the joke. My dad was not like a kid's like, "Oh, let's go to Chuck E. Cheese." No, my dad was like, "We're gonna do what I want to do. So we're gonna go to fine dining. We want to go to pizza. We're gonna go to a an Italian restaurant."
Mhm.
So growing up, I'm thinking like, okay, this is where you supposed to go. So my dad opened up my doors. My dad taught us a lot of things. So subconsciously, I'm thinking, okay, this is where you supposed to go out to eat. Not thinking until later on I got an adult, like my dad doesn't want to be around kids. So we were doing what he wanted to do. We just went along with him. So and I was like, okay. And my mom was a very strong, independent woman. There's nothing wrong with that. But she was just like, you bring your own money. You don't depend on anybody. You got this. You smart. Don't ever let nobody think that you lesser than. So she instilled that into us at an early age. So I think I had this. I always tell my partner like I had this bubble around me where I used to think, like, what's wrong with this person? Why they acting like that? Why they changing the way they sound and why they changing the way they move? Like it was so foreign to me. Especially when I went off to school and I was just like, yeah, like some of these people are they're different. I just say that they're different, okay? And I just could not understand that for the life of me. Later on, experience taught me everyone wasn't taught the way I was. So
Exactly.
even in college, like how kids were like, "Oh, we broke in college." No, we was going to Olive Garden, Ruby Tooth for college kids. That was good, okay. So, but I kept that going. It wasn't like, "Oh, let's go to McDonald's and let's go to Taco Bell." No, you do that after class. But we on a date. You want to date me? You have to take me to a sit down because in my mind, that's what my daddy did. So I'm just keeping that going. And I always make the joke, everybody needed a daddy like Fred because Fred would be tell you the hard truth, but then love you from an adult perspective. He was never that foo-foo, come on and give me a hug. No, that's not my daddy, okay? He gonna tell you what you need to do in life. But yeah, that's and even like my partner now, we've been together 6 years now. And when I first met him, I was like, okay, what's when your birthday? Do you got a passport? And do you want kids? Those are three questions I always ask. First date. I don't have time to be beating around the bush. And so, and I teach people how to treat you. Know what you like, know where you're going. So, and I asked him like, what's your expectations of me? So, but yeah, that might rub some people the wrong way. And then for my partner, he was like, I'm just glad you know what you want. So it worked out for me in that case.
Absolutely. And a lot of people don't have those types of examples. So for me, my parents, I watched my mom my
Mhm.
entire life give to everyone until she had nothing left. Okay.
Mm,
Until she had nothing left. And I watched my father on the other end take advantage of that. And, women will say, he did XYZ, but I stayed. He did XYZ, but I stayed. That was
mhm,
my mom. All these things that she experienced, all these things that she encountered. I'm like, okay, so am I supposed to be a giver or am I supposed to be
mm.
a taker?
Wow. I like that. When did you question that? When did you start having those questions? I'm curious.
I think it wasn't until really when I was going through my divorce
Mm.
because I started to see those same patterns and I'm like, something ain't right.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, I started to see where, okay, I can be forgiven, I can be understanding, I can be all of these things, but when is enough enough? And as I went through that experience and then afterwards I started dating and started to see the red flags again, and I'm like, where am I going to stand on this pendulum? Am I going to
Mm,
constantly be a giver and be taken advantage of? Or am I going to be a taker? But it's not necessarily a bad thing to be someone who receives. It's about giving and
no.
receiving in relationships.
Exactly.
So, am I going to be open to receive? And what am I going to be open to receive? Who am I going to be open to receive? Or am I just going to settle because, you know, I'm a divorced single mom? Am I just going
Mhm.
to allow anybody into my life for the sake of having someone in my life?
Mhm.
But over the years, when I started to see those patterns in my relationships, it's like, and then having a background in early childhood education, I started to understand that 0 to 7 age range is when
Mhm.
a lot of your beliefs, your habits, your patterns are solidified.
Mhm.
So when I started to look at my parents, look at their relationships, look at how they show up as people in the world, I started to see those things in myself.
Mm.
So you get to decide, am I going to be that victim and say, oh, this is why I am the way that I am because of my parents, because of my upbringing, because of my experiences? Or are you going to choose to see these things for what they are as material for the masterpiece that you are and move forward with that being material or mess that's going to hold you back?
Mhm.
So it comes a time when you see yourself in situations and circumstances like me going through a divorce with a 2, 1, and 1 month old.
Mm.
You gotta check yourself. Okay,
Yeah.
how did I get myself here?
Yeah.
What did I do to get myself here? You can't automatically say, "Oh, this person did that. This
Yeah.
person did this." Yes, of course, we cannot control what other people do, how other people show up. The only thing we can control is how we respond to it. So when you decide I'm going to respond in a way that suits and serves me, that's when you're able to shift from your childhood conditioning, your childhood programming to something new and something different. Because for
Mhm.
me, walking away as a mom of 3 littles with no income, that was one of the scariest things that I ever did in my life. But I said, you know what? I'ma trust and believe that I deserve more. I deserve
Mm.
better. And the steps that I take from here on out are going to get me to that more and that better that I know that I desire and I know that I
Yes.
deserve.
I love that. You say you hit the nail on the head. You said, "You know what? I'm not gonna be this victim. I'm not gonna blame my parents." Now, if you're a child, yes, your parents' responsibility is to take care of you, be your mouthpiece. But you can't keep using that excuse when you're an adult. Yeah, our parents are humans too. They did the best they could with the tools
Yes.
they had. That's it. That's it. And you at some point you have to take responsibility for your own actions and where you are. And I too am a divorcee. So, and look, and I know exactly why we ended because we should never got married in the first place. Okay.
Okay, amen. Amen.
I saw all the red flags and I thought, you know what? I can love him enough for him to change. Girl, I should have poured that love back into myself. Cause all he did was just took it. But let me just say, he was a good person. He wasn't good for me. I'll just say that. And yeah, it was. I thank God. And you know what? I didn't want to be a divorcee because I came from a divorced parents. But I cannot fault anybody. I can't fault him. I can't fault my parents. I can fault myself because all the signs. God could have literally parted the clouds, came down on a riding a horse with fire sticks in his hand and be like, don't do it. And I still be like, God, I think I got this one.
I'm gonna see for myself.
I'm gonna see for myself. And so, and I seen it, and threw it right on back. So I get it, but I admire your tenacity to be better, and I love that because so many people think that this is it. I just got to take this, and no, you don't. You don't have to take it. That in itself is self betrayal. And you don't want to continue that narrative of your kids seeing you. Now your kids gonna say, "Yeah, my mama is a boss." Period. Like she's strong, she independent, she making moves, and I admire that. And that's now you're rewriting your own like history, your own narrative, and I think that is a beautiful thing. That is
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. I admire that. So
Okay.
yes. But in that same breath, what does it cost people when they keep abandoning themselves? We talked about our experience. I guess you could talk about yourself or even some of your clients. How does it emotionally show up when we abandon ourselves?
When we emotionally abandon ourselves, it's said that hurt people hurt people.
Mm,
When you're abandoning yourself, you're constantly hurting yourself. So you're going to either attract people that are going to continue that same cycle of hurting you,
mm,
or you're going to be in the relationships with people where you're hurting them. Okay? Or you could have relationships where both things are happening.
mm,
The thing about relationships that is so hard for people
mm,
is that we're designed for relationship, but we're not taught how to be in relationship with people.
mm,
It's
yes.
no, we're not taught in school really about relationships. It's really, you're taught, okay,
Mm,
keep your hands, your feet to yourself, sticks and
yep.
stones, those types of things. The very, very minimum of what it takes to have and be in a healthy relationship. So
Mm,
when you got into this space and place where subconsciously you're constantly betraying yourself, you're constantly denying yourself of the things that you desire and who you're created to be,
mm-hmm.
gonna constantly show up in your relationships.
Mm, mm,
It's gonna show up in your interactions. It's gonna show up in
mhm.
conversations. It's gonna show up in okay, relationship after relationship after
Yes.
relationship. Like, why can't you keep a man? Why can't you keep
Mm,
a girl? Why they 3 divorces later? Like
mm,
these patterns, if you don't take the time to assess and address within yourself, they're going to
mhm.
continue to show up in your relationships. Relationships magnify who you are and what's inside.
Yep.
Okay. If you
Yes.
don't use them as an opportunity to learn about yourself, learn about how to be better in relationships, your relationship is not going to last. But it starts with your relationship with you, your relationship with God, source, higher power, whatever you call it. Okay.
Mm,
We got a lot of
yes.
different beliefs out there. But
Yes.
those two are the cornerstones of how your relationships are going to be with other people.
Mm,
You have to be able to enter relationships with this view of I'm going to learn about how to be better as a person and how to be better in relationships instead of it being about, okay, a lot of people are, okay, what can I give in this relationship? How
mm.
much can I give for this person to love me? Okay.
Yes, yes.
And other people on the other spectrum is how much can I take before I'm on to the next?
Mhm.
Okay. Some
Yeah.
people are, it's a
Yep.
spectrum. Some people are somewhere in between. But those are two ideologies in relationships where it's like, okay, what can I, what am I, how can I give and how can I receive in this relationship? What can I
Mhm.
teach and what can I learn in a
Mm.
relationship? Because that's what relationships are about, teaching and learning about
Yes.
yourself, about the world, about other people, about relationships, about life in general.
Mhm.
So using relationships as teaching and learning opportunities, that's when you'll start to see, okay, I took this from this relationship, even though it didn't last. Okay. I
Mhm.
took this from this relationship so that this relationship, this next relationship, whether it's a friend, an intimate partner, a boss, a coworker, this relationship can be better because I'm not going to repeat the same cycles. I'm not going to
Yes.
the same habits. I'm not going to have those same types of conversations because it goes
Yes.
back to using those experiences as material versus just waddling in the mess of what it was.
Yes. And sometimes it be is their emotional memory. Like a muscle memory, they're comfortable in being uncomfortable. You need to rewrite that story. That's that's just how it is. And then question why you want to be in a relationship.
Mhm.
Because sometimes that time isn't now. Because when you're empty, then you find someone in their loneliness. Because, like you said, you are attracting what you are. So, question before is it, are you wanting to date and proceed to marriage or whatever life partner, whatever that looks like for you, because you're lonely or because you're just alone? It's two different things. Lonely is suggesting I don't feel comfortable even being by myself. So I need some external validation
Mhm.
to complete me. Alone is I'm comfortable with myself. I'm just single because the right person who matches my frequency hasn't come along yet. That's two different feelings. And people can feel that too. So people have to realize what's the why? Why do you want to be involved in a relationship? And I was talking to someone else and they said something so profound. And they were saying that a lot of people like to date. They
Mhm.
love dating. But society wise, we'll date, but dating is not marriage. It's two different fields, it's two different ideologies, it's two different things. Now, if you want to date, hang out, go kick it, you could do that with your friends, you could do that with your homeboy, homegirl, cousins, whoever, right? But if you want to establish a relationship, dating to get to know someone, to progress to marriage, that you're showing up in two different ways. It's two different ways. So I like to like ask people, what are your intentions? What are your expectations? Are you just do you just want a hang like you just want somebody that we can hang out with, catch a movie, just chill on the weekends every now and then? Or do you really want a life partner? Because like you said, like a relationship, it is a give and take. It's not just all taking, it's not all just giving. It might be a 60-40, 80-20, 70-30. Sometimes it's not gonna always be 50-50. That ain't life. That's just not life.
Girl, that's a whole nother conversation.
But people want to get in these relationships without knowing thyself first. Well, what is your why? Why do you want to get in this relationship? Because, like you said, if you can't keep a partner, you working on your third divorce, no judgment or none, whatever people
No
like to
judgment,
do.
okay?
Judgment. I'm one and done, okay? Like, I'm gonna get remarried and that's gonna be it. Like, we dying together at this point. So, but If you keep on seeing these patterns, it's not these people, it's you.
The
You're the common
common
denominator.
denominator is you. Okay, exactly.
Let's let's take a breather and let's figure out what is going on. That's why you have practitioners like Jalisa, right? That's why you have practitioners like Dr. Freda. We can help y'all, okay? Pick up Jalisa's book, okay? The 5 F's to Freedom. I always encourage people, you need a
Yes.
toolbox of resources that you can pull out when life is lifing, and you can pull out something that's going to help you. Okay, I'm facing this right now. What do I have in my toolbox? Okay, that I can pull out, I can read, I can meditate on. How can I pour back into myself? Because sometimes your friends can't pour into you because they can't pour into themselves.
Okay.
Okay, so I need you to have your toolbox and have it filled with the right things. Her book is one of the right things. So I had to just say that because I think it's a lot of people that feel like they're stuck when they don't have to. Being stuck is a choice.
Yes.
And
You're not
it's
a
a,
tree. Okay. Look, they say you're not a tree.
no,
Okay.
not at all. Not at all. The only thing you're choosing is to stay stuck. That is the lie that you continuously telling yourself, and it's so unfortunate. And I just want you, before we end, what would you tell someone who is afraid that choosing themselves will hurt others? What would you tell
Yeah.
the younger Jalisa? What would you tell your clients that if they are afraid of choosing themselves will hurt others? What would you say?
I had to make this decision when I wrote my book because my book is about my life. And, life
Mm,
comes with other people and your relationships, things that
yes.
happen in those relationships. So, sharing about my childhood, things that happened, sharing about my relationships with my parents and the things that I saw, those things I was afraid to put out there because I'm like, okay, how are other people going to feel? But when I realized that my story was so much bigger than just me,
Mm,
okay, that's
mm,
when I decided I can't worry about what other people are going to think, how
mm,
they're going to feel about the role that they played in my story. I can only tell it from my perspective, knowing that it's not just for me. There are people that I've come across who have been suffering in silence, going through things that I went through, and felt like there was nobody else there that they could talk to, nobody
mm,
else that will understand. So when you realize that your story, your situation, your life is bigger than just you, bigger than those people that might even try to hold you back because you're quote unquote talking too much or you're sharing too much or your light is too bright. So they want to dim you down. They want to keep you to where they know you were before.
mm,
Because when you start to shine, those people that are continuously dimming their light, they like, oh, I got to step my game up. And they don't want to.
mm,
So instead of stepping their game up, they're going to try to bring you back down so you can dim your light like, who you think you are? Oh,
mm,
you think you better than us now. Oh, you
mm,
did like those types of people are only the ones that are betraying themselves.
mm,
So in order to not have to hold themselves responsible and accountable for doing
mhm,
something different, they're going to try to stop you from showing up and shining, showing up
mm,
and sharing the things, showing up and healing,
mm,
showing up and getting what you deserve and living the life that you deserve. So
mm,
when you decide that there are people, and we're literally, I tell people all the time, we're all connected. The decisions that you make impact the whole entire world. So when you realize that your life is bigger than just this one situation, this one circumstance, even your one family, you'll start to step out of that and say, you know what, choosing me, choosing to live a better life is not just for me. It's not only going to impact and affect me. The people that see you and they start to see, okay, something is different about her. Okay, she's doing something different. And that'll give them the opportunity and the example to choose something different and choose something better for themselves when they want it. Because there are people that don't want it and they're gonna try to bring you down. And there are people that do want it but don't have examples. So when you decide, I'm gonna step up, I'm gonna step out, even if it's just baby steps, one little baby step at a time, you're making a difference not only in your life, but in the lives of everyone you come in contact with, and even those that you don't come in contact with. Know that your decisions are bigger than just you.
Well, I want to thank you for stepping outside of yourself and writing that book because your story frees so many other people. And you could have been selfish and kept that locked away inside of you, but you didn't. And so I do want to thank you for that. And I appreciate your words of wisdom on today's podcast. I do appreciate your transparency. And so thank you. And I want you to let everyone know how they can work with you. Do you see people only in person? Do you use Zoom? Do you see people like via Zoom? How can we work with you and how can we purchase your book?
Yes, everything is on my website. You can book your self-discovery and alignment session with me. You can get my book. I have a workbook as well. You can learn more about the work that I do. I also have meetup groups on meetup.com. But all of that is on my website, jalisahardy.com. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Jalisa. So the goal isn't to be fearless, it's to be honest, what we've been talking about today. To stop negotiating with your soul already knows. So here's what I want to leave you with. The most painful betrayal isn't when someone else lied to you or leave you. It's when you lie to yourself and call it peace.
Mm.
So again, Jaleesa, thank you for holding this conversation with truth and grace. And I am Dr. Frida, and I will see you all next week.